Patty Teal, and you're listening to KTMS News Talk 990. Next up, David Charles Allen, Village Properties Realtor and host of The Hop. That's Home Ownership Podcast.
Welcome to The Hop. This is David Charles Allen, Realtor at Village Properties in Santa Barbara, California, with my good friend and co-host Patty Teal. I'm doing amazing today, Patty. How you doing?
I'm doing well too, David. Thank you so much.
Of course, it's great to be back. Weather this week, we had a really scattered upcoming week, low to mid 70s, and then some days in the low to mid 60s. So really scattered around. Some days we're going to have some marine layer, some fog. Maybe some other days the sun will break out in the afternoon. We're seeing a little bit different climate here, so it's nice.
Fun to get out those sweaters.
Yeah, when you're so used to perfect weather, when it gets to 60s, people really get cold around here. So.
That's right.
It's definitely interesting to see. I know I was walking at the park the other day, and it really wasn't that cold out, and I was wearing a shirt and shorts, and someone had walked by me. He's like, "Where's your sweater?" I'm like, "Oh, it's not that cold." But okay.
I know. Not that cold yet. I'm just hoping I can get a sweater out again one day.
I know. Yeah, right? Down in
Just to remind the listeners, I am in Florida right now, but the weather is starting to cool off. The evenings and the mornings are really quite beautiful, and even afternoons are warm, but not blazing hot. So I'm starting to enjoy it.
That's nice. Yeah, you just get to adapt to it. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of surf, we had yesterday was actually really fun out there, where it looks like we're starting to get some northwest swells on the horizon. So it could be a solid winter ahead of us.
Oh, is it indicative of things to come?
It seems that way. Sometimes you'll have sporadic swells that really start the winter off good, but you never really can tell until it's there.
I understand that there are predictions, aren't there, that this is going to be a really good surf year. I don't know who puts them out, but sometimes you surfers kind of know when a good year is coming. Is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes, but I feel like they say it a lot and then it never happens the way it's supposed to.
I see.
It's kind of like how in Santa Barbara, it says it's going to rain for 2 days straight and we're going to get a bunch of rain like a week out. And then the day of, it's like, oh, never mind. There's no more rain. It's like,
oh, that's funny. I was checking the hourly. Right. I was checking the hourly weather here, and we were just having a torrential rainfall, and it said, oh, the rain is going to die down at 3:02. And like at 3:02, the rain died down. I thought, how did they know that? It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's a little weird if you ask me, but
It is weird.
That's a different topic for a different day.
Who's turning that rain off and on?
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised, to say the least, with everything going on. So yeah, in terms of interest rates, how they're performing, we've actually seen an uptick in both conforming and non-conforming. So it's at 3.125 for conforming 30-year fixed, and actually has got up to 3% for non-conforming jumbo. So I think that's the first time it hit 3% in quite some time. So it's interesting to see. Not that big of an uptick, but there is a marginal increase upwards.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of how the listings have performed this last week, and the numbers, 42 new listings, 7 price changes, 41 that closed, 31 that went pending, 0 expired, and 6 that were coming soon. So a nice little buildup of supply, 42 to 31. So that's pretty significant. But if you're looking at from all the previous weeks that we've been on for several months now, that's probably the lowest number of new listings too. So it is interesting. The lowest number comes on, and then the lowest number that went pending as well. So it's very interesting to see.
Yeah. So still maybe difficult to find your dream house at this time, but keep the faith. It'll go up and down a little bit as we move along. And fall started, people are back to school. So that may have affected people's ability to get out and look for a home.
Yeah, I think a lot of buyers kind of slow down this time of year. Some have just been doing it for so long, they're just exhausted. So it's all going to come down to the individual party, and it's always dependent on what your situation is, dependent if it's the right time for you or not.
Mm-hmm. Right. David, I know it's so important, especially in these difficult times, difficult especially for people looking to purchase a home. If they do need a realtor, could you give your information?
Yeah, my number is 805-617-9311, or they can send me an email at david@davidcharlesallen.com.
Thank you.
Pooch is at home. I actually have a cat with me right now and my girlfriend's dog as well. So it's pretty wild over at my house. The cat just laying on me, scratching everything, just wanting to cuddle, meowing. So,
oh, how is Bailey accepting having that kitty cat in the house?
Bailey loves the cat when it's just them two.
Mm-hmm.
But when Jasmine's involved, she's a bigger dog, so she just wants to play too. It ruins the smaller ones playing because they're like, "Oh no, I'm a big dog."
Oh, and Jasmine's a German Shepherd, correct?
Yes, and she gets jealous of other dogs playing, so she wants to be included. I don't think she knows she's that big.
Yes, I believe that's true. I know when I was watching Riley, the Golden Retriever, I don't think Riley had a clue that he was big. We had a great time, but I had to be very careful. Ollie, my dog, loves to play ball, but I realized after the first throw that was a bad idea to try to get them to play ball together because both of them wanted the ball. Riley doesn't return it, and it just led to all sorts of chaos. So I'm back to playing ball with Ollie now that Riley's been reunited with his own mom and dad.
Oh my, yeah. Sometimes the big dogs are just clueless too. Bailey has come to know if we're on like walks or hikes that she has to be behind Jasmine at all times.
Oh, she's got a bodyguard.
Oh no, it's because Jasmine will just straight run her over. Like,
I had the wrong idea completely.
Oh yeah, no. Jasmine will just run forward. She'll run backward. She'll chase a stick. She knows now to just sit in the back of the pack so she can keep a watchful eye.
Right. I'm picturing the cartoon, where they always show somebody that got flattened. Well, I think Bailey is rather brilliant to have figured that out. Before we go, I wanted to ask you a question, David. Each week, I thought we'd come up with a question for you, and people can also feel free to write to you with these questions, and we can answer them on air. Today's question is it a good idea to buy the worst house in a neighborhood rather than the best house in a neighborhood? Is that a better investment?
It depends your qualifications. If you are qualified to fix up the worst house in the neighborhood, or if you don't mind living in a fixer. I know a lot of people want everything touched up, but when I was growing up, I know a lot of people and friends that lived in houses that I wouldn't say they're a wreck, but there wasn't anything special and everyone lived really happily. So
yeah, and I guess that was the wrong wording on my part. What I meant, maybe a smaller, not as expensive house in a neighborhood is a better investment than having the biggest, grandest house in the neighborhood. Is that true?
To put your question a little bit better, it's like, would you rather have a small house in the best location or a bigger house and not as good of a location? Over time, the location's always going to be more important than the size of the house. So if you're in the best location and you have a small house, you can live with a small house. That's always going to be the best investment, no matter where it is. Even if it's smaller, it's going to be a way better investment.
Thank you so much for that, David. And again, if you have a question, you can send it to david@davidcharlesallen.com and we will have him answer it on the air. So David, I really had fun today and I can't wait until our next show.
I look forward to it, Pat. Let's give it a go.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
All right, bye.